Major and important news coming from Mexico City, Mexico. As of yesterday, July 4th, hundreds of people have taken it to protest in Mexico City and demanding for Americans to get out. Apart from demanding Americans to get out due to the gentrification that has been happening in Mexico, Mexican citizens are demanding for any Americans that live in Mexico to pay taxes, pay in pesos, and speak Spanish. Now, while many of you might think that Americans living in Mexico is bettering the Mexican economy, it is not. Americans living in Mexico are teleworking and paying American taxes, but not Mexican taxes. While these American refugees are paying in dollars, it's causing the locals to not be able to afford rent, food, and other necessities. And this is because a lot of Americans are buying these properties and trying to make them more into luxurious homes or Airbnbs. Since COVID, and when it became more popular to telework, 1.2 million Americans have fled undocumented to Mexico, and that is not including the ones that do have visas. In the past year, we've seen multiple videos of Americans trying to gentrify Mexico. One was in Puerto Vallarta, where an American lady bought a home next to a restaurant and then demanded for the restaurant to close because it was messing with her aesthetic, although the restaurant had already been there for about 15 years. She did sue the restaurant and lost. Another one has been where Americans are demanding for Mexicans to stop playing their music in Mexican beaches, although that has always been a part of the Mexican culture. There has also been a rise of homeless people in Mexico, and none of them are Mexican. They're American. Americans are becoming homeless in Mexico and terrorizing local citizens.
We're on fucking over 500 days over some bullshit my fucking own country did.
The locals in Mexico have stated that this is going to be one of many protests to come, and yesterday's protest did turn into a riot, where many Mexicans took it to American businesses and destroyed the properties. I will keep you guys posted with more updates to come. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Breaking news. The president of Mexico has stated that he will begin to deport Americans that have moved to Mexico without proper documentation, aka illegal immigrants. This comes after the president of Mexico states that he is tired of Americans gentrifying cities in Mexico. In the past 3 weeks, we have seen different events where Americans try to colonize beaches, public areas, and even salsa. While a lot of these Americans have moved to Mexico for a better life, they move there because they cannot afford to live here in the United States. So move to Mexico so they can afford a lifestyle there, but locals have raised their prices because Americans are paying in dollars, while locals that are still shopping have to pay in pesos and now have to pay the equivalent of the dollar. And instead of these people moving to Mexico and bettering the economy, they're making it horrible for the people that live there. You know, the natives. And if you already did not know, the amount of Mexicans migrating to the United States has slowed down by the 100,000 since 2019. The amount of Mexicans living in the United States leaving willingly back to Mexico has increased drastically. And while Mexicans are moving back to Mexico, a lot of Americans have been moving to Mexico for a better life. But my, how the tables have turned. What are your thoughts? Breaking news. The president of Mexico has stated that he will begin to deport Americans.
Oh shit, the shit has hit the fan. I got news. It's your host, it's the dark one, Dark Chocolate Soul Brother number 1. Mexican president saying that he is starting to deport Americans, illegal immigrants out of Mexico. Okay, folks, we about to go in. I figured this shit was going to happen pretty soon. So, there's been an uproar of Americans, mostly Karens and Kevins, that have moved down to Mexico, trying to live the good life, but disrupting the flow of business, causing a whole bunch of shit, complaining, and fucking up the economy down in Mexico. So, there's been a lot of controversy with these Karens that buy their little villa next to a canteen or taqueria, and when you get the mariachi bands out there that are jamming and playing, they're coming down going, "You guys are too loud. You're disturbing my peace." Well, the president is like, fuck that. I'm sick of this shit. We ain't rocking like this. This is not America. You don't get to be entitled and come to our country. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mexico is firing back. They are sick of the Americans that come to their country and start wreaking havoc, making their way of life harder because certain Americans feel entitled. Man, I am cracking up. I just heard the news this morning. I'm going to post the link. But it's been an uproar lately of these Karens, privileged and entitled Karens, that don't know how to act, thinking that Mexico is like the United States. Well, it is not. And they don't allow you to do the same as if you were in America, or I should say the United States. They work different. These are some hard-working people, you know. Now, what was said is the influx of illegal people trying to cross the border and get into America has slowed down. But a few bad apples, peaches, plums, whatever the fuck you want to say, have come over and is trying to ruin the whole batch. And the Mexican community and the Mexican government are picking out those rotten fruit and throwing it right back across the border and saying, fuck you, you're not going to come over here and tell us how we rock, how we get down. No. You're not going to come over and brainwash some of these business owners so that the people who are trying to earn an honest hustle to stop playing their music or stop cooking a certain way because the food is too spicy. Nope. The Mexican president is clapping back. And you know what I say? Good for you. Because a lot of us over in America don't like Karens anyway. It's the honest to God truth. A lot of us over here are sick of these fucking Karens and Kevins because of the sense of entitlement that someone needs to pucker up and kiss their ass. Well, to the Mexican president, I'm glad that you are putting foot to ass. Hopefully it goes all the way up to the knee when you break your foot off in these Karens and Kevins and deport their ass back over to America. Yeah, that's the way it should be. Now see, these people, Karens and Kevins, are fucking around and they're finding out that they don't care about your sense of entitlement. If you go to another country, you better get in where you fit in. Don't be over there causing a ruckus. Don't be acting a fool. When I was growing up, and this is common amongst the black community, our older, either grandma or moms or our dad or grandparents, when we were young and we go places, they would tell us, we're going over to so-and-so's house or we're going to so-and-so's place. Don't be acting a fool and showing your ass. You better act like you got some home training. Now, I may not be the only one who has said this or heard this, but I know amongst black people, because we all talk, we've all somewhat had the same speech. Well, this is the same speech that should be going to the Kevin and Karens that go over to Mexico acting a fool. Someone should tell you, don't be going over there acting a motherfucking fool, showing your ass, being entitled when you have no right to be. You must get in where you fit in. If you go to Mexico, you might want to be low key and not stir the shit. But it's okay, because now they have fucked around and found out, and they are going to be strict on us Americans, since we have treated Mexicans or Latinos bad in our country. they're going to return the favor. But let me know, ladies and gentlemen out in TikTok land, how you feel about this. I'm going to post a link. I want you guys to leave your comments because I think it's about some payback, how the way we treat them. And now it's like, okay, we're going to turn it around. So let me know what your opinion is, because to me, this is going to be a very interesting topic. People, please do not say racist shit on the comments, because it will be erased and you will be blocked. Trust and believe. Come up with something that is intelligent and articulable. And with that being said, I'm your host. I'm the Dark One, Dark Chocolate Soul Brother number 1, and I'm out. Like, follow, comment, and repost. Smash up that like. Hit that heart. Smash it up, smash it up, smash it up. And I'm out.
Hey guys, welcome back once again. And in today's clip is that our Mexican brothers and sisters, they are refugers and they are kicking Americans out of Mexico. Reason to why is that they feel like these people ain't treating their brothers and sisters, while for them they are welcoming Americans into their country. We all know a lot of Americans really go to Mexico for vacation, and a lot of them really prefer to live in Mexico because life in Mexico is kind of cheaper compared to USA. This is the reason why a lot of Americans prefer to go to retire in Mexico. And right now, Mexican people, they really came out in large number and they're kicking them out of Mexico. Please join me in this video and watch till the end, and then I'll be back with more comments.
I don't know how many times I've actually tried to film this, but I'm going to read something that I've just read. Now, obviously, this is being read from social media. I didn't think this man could do anything more to fucking shock me. In fact, he can't shock me, or so I fucking thought. It says excluding Calico. It says excluding, and then there's a derogatory term for Native Americans. Trump admin questions Native Americans' birthright citizenship in court. Native Americans. He's on their stolen land. Native fucking Americans. The Trump administration's Justice Department has cited a 19th century law excluding Native Americans from birthright citizenship in arguments defending Trump's order to suspend birthright citizenship. Justice Department attorneys argue that the phrase "subject to the jurisdiction thereof" in the 14th Amendment means birth in the United States alone does not entitle a person to citizenship. The Trump administration contends that Native Americans may not be entitled to birthright citizenship based on a Supreme Court case and the historical exclusion of a derogatory term not taxed from citizenship. Where the fuck is he going to send them back to? Where? Where does he think they're going to go? He's on their land. Get me the fuck off this planet. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? Because apparently I read earlier that this has been thrown out as absolute fucking nonsense by a judge. Because it is nonsense. Birthright citizenship. Native Americans. Motherfucker!
Mexicans deporting Americans is the funniest thing I've learned this year so far. Apparently, Mexican authorities are deporting Americans who have colonized along the beaches and nicer areas of Mexico who do not have the proper documentation. So yes, they've been deporting them back to the States. And it's ironic because Americans are like, oh, pack up your bags, you gotta go home or whatever. And well, the Americans who have thought to exhaust Mexican resources and go live the cheap life, right? In nice areas, well, pack up your bags and let's wrap it up.
There's a scandal about the eclipse you don't know about, but I'm here to update you. This American woman you see here kicked out a little girl, and that's her right there, out of the viewing area from El Mirador. By the way, this little girl is Mexican. In case you don't know what El Mirador is, it is a touristic area in Durango, Mexico. Well, it became the top spot to view the eclipse, and thousands of people went to El Mirador to be able to experience viewing the eclipse. A group of Americans went and got ownership of an entire area of El Mirador and kicked out the locals out of that area. And even people called the local authorities, and they also, this is the media, and there she is telling the media, the local media, go to the other side, there's plenty other areas to view the eclipse. So then a little girl named Lucia defended herself against her. And this is Lucia. Lucia was talking to the reporter when this lady came and argued with Lucia, telling her to go find another place because they had rented that spot. However, local officials in Mexico are saying that no one had rented any spots in El Mirador and that El Mirador was accessible to anyone who wanted to experience viewing the eclipse. In case you haven't seen the video, I'm gonna tag the video so that you can see it for yourself. Now look, every year, thousands of Americans go to Mexico, but there's a few that go to Mexico and cross the line. I mean, for this lady to have a group of people and take ownership of a spot, I'm sorry, I think that children are off limits. You go get an adult. You go and talk to an adult. But to talk to a child like that, that's off limits. You don't talk to a child that way. And let's not forget, you're a visitor in this country. You're a visitor in Mexico. You don't live there. Local officials are saying that she said that she rented that spot to give her authority to kick the locals out. They are denying what she is saying, that she rented the spot. And what the local officials are saying is that they never rent that spot because El Mirador is a public place for everyone.
U.S. citizens are being denied entry into Mexico. Check out this video.
Today we're in Mexico, they're not letting us in.
Todos los que son nacidos en Estados Unidos traen un pasaporte, sí o sí pasaporte.
Today we're walking into Mexico and we're getting denied entry. Check it out.
Tienen que traer pasaporte cuando tienen que traer un pasaporte, sí o sí pasaporte, porque las
Pero ya cambió con el Trump, ¿verdad? Que el Trump cambió todo, so ustedes ya es más difícil, ¿verdad?
And this is exactly why I've been telling you guys again and again to get your dual citizenship. I have never gotten a visa in my life. I have never paid to go into Mexico. I know nothing about that. I've been hearing rumors that Mexico is going to start asking people visiting from the US for visas to enter Mexico. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a Mexican passport in 2025. It's literally free and it's never been easier. I mean, but if you guys are okay with continuously having to pay fees to go into Mexico, having to get visas, that's your problem. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
Americans move to Mexico all the time. Americans that cannot survive in the United States off their Social Security, they move to Mexico because they can stretch that dollar out. So they move to Mexico because they can't afford to live in the United States. Now, other people that also live off Social Security, but throughout their life, they made investments, had businesses, and they not only survive off Social Security, but they also survive off those investments they made in prior years. They don't have to go to Mexico because they can afford to stay in the United States. Now, why am I bringing up Americans moving to Mexico? Because I'm just using your people as an example to state the obvious. Now, sure, you cannot compare the numbers of people that moved from the United States to Mexico to Mexicans that moved to the United States. I get that. But in theory, it's the same concept. People leave Mexico to the United States because they don't have the same opportunities in Mexico that other people do. Most of the people that move to Mexico come from very small towns And most of the time, they lack the opportunities, or they come from poverty and they go in search of the American dream, which is the United States. You see, people that live in the city, like the city where I live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexicans here in Puerto Vallarta, they're not interested in going to the United States. They're good. They have good jobs. They make good money. But the United States throughout time has sold the world this American dream. Come to the United States, fix all of your problems. We have the American dream. And people from countries that the US has destabilized over time, people in these countries, like Mexico, they believe that. And so they move to the United States because they are fed that propaganda of the American dream. That if you go to the States, you will fix all of your problems. And most Mexicans that go to the United States, they go to work, build their homes back in Mexico, and return. That's the goal of most Mexicans that go to the United States. They don't flee the country because of the They don't flee the country because of the violence. Some do, but most leave because of the lack of opportunities to succeed. Now, your next question will probably be, why don't they move to a bigger city like Puerto Vallarta as opposed to moving to the United States, to a completely different country? That's a valid question. But that also requires another thorough answer. So I'll get you on the next one.
Mexican immigrations official just deported an American content creator who was a Trump supporter and ironically had this to say about illegal immigration after the presidential elections this year.
I don't know why Latinos are so scared of Donald Trump taking office. What's going to happen is he's going to secure the border and there's probably going to be less immigrants coming in, which is a good thing because that's how the country is supposed to be run. You're going to have to go through a legal process.
So this content creator entered Mexico through a tourist visa, overstayed, and was recently deported by Mexican officials because she doesn't have lawful status. Ironically, she's a Trump supporter living in Mexico. Wild. You guys say that you guys need to do it the right way. We need to do it the right way when we try to go up there to migrate for a better life. But you guys don't need to do it the right way when you guys come down here to live and take advantage of the lower cost of living, among many other things, right? That's what I took away from this video. This is no hate to this content creator, but I was kind of shocked to scroll down some of her videos. Initially, I just kind of wanted to understand the process. Like, damn, that's crazy to see the reverse Uno. But honestly, this is something that a lot of Mexicans have been waiting for Mexican officials to start deporting the Americans, Canadians, and foreigners. But a large part of them are Americans that come down here to take advantage of the lower cost of living and to stretch their dollars a little bit further. But they do so by circumventing our immigration processes because a tourist visa is for 6 months only to come and be a tourist. If you come down here on this tourist visa to live and you're working and making income and you're still living on this tourist visa, you are technically not doing it the right way. In her video, she mentioned she was in the process of obtaining dual citizenship, which is great. However, you still have not done it the right way. While you were in the process of getting citizenship or legalizing yourself, you are still technically in Mexico unlawfully, which is why you were just deported. So it's just kind of crazy to see a Trump supporter preach about how this is how it's supposed to happen. You guys should just do it the right way. But when you guys come down here to our country, you guys don't do it the right way either. Food for
So apparently Mexico is no-go for us Americanos, and I just want you guys to understand. So if you go to another country like Mexico and you decide to protest like you do here, like the Mexicans do here, and other people from around other countries, if you go into the streets and you wave an American flag and you destroy cars and stuff like that, I just want you to understand that you will disappear. And when I say disappear, I don't mean like you're gonna go to jail for a day and be able to call your mom and, you know, they bail you out and you'll be back on the streets, or Kamala Harris is gonna basically fund your release or anything like that. I don't mean that. What I mean is you will literally disappear. You will be gone and someone will remove you and you will be taken to a place where no one can find you and you will not have a cell phone for tracking or anything like that. Like, you will seriously disappear and never be found. So my advice to you, people who have the same ideology that you can just go into the street and destroy cars and loot and all that stuff, is please don't do it in Mexico, okay? Don't do it in Mexico, because we won't see you again at all. And if we do see you, probably not going to want to see what you look like after you've been found. So make sure that if you are an American in Mexico, maybe you want to come home where it's safe and we love you, take good care of you back here in America. So just thought I'd give you my advice.
Y'all, I am getting deported from Mexico after living here for 4 years. Let's talk about it. And I know I look a mess. Stay focused. Welcome to another episode of Karina's Walk and Talk, where we do some walking and some talking around my beautiful neighborhood here in Mexico. But today, we are doing a sit and speak instead of a walk and talk. It's raining outside, and honestly, I feel like this topic deserves my full attention without me dodging any puddles. Ever since I started sharing my life in Mexico, people have been calling me a gentrifier or telling me I need to go back to my country. Normally, I let those comments roll off my back. But ever since Trump's inauguration on Monday and President Claudia Sheinbaum's recent statement about deporting Americans in response to U.S. immigration policies led by the Orange Clown, the comments have been coming in hot. And to be honest, I couldn't care less about the comments, but I do feel like it's important that I address all of the stuff that has been taking place. So if you didn't know, Claudia is Mexico's first woman president. She's been out here matching Trump's energy to a T. And I feel like she's been also talking to him the way he deserves. Honestly, it's refreshing to see a leader who's willing to get in the trenches for her people, because I feel like we have not seen that in decades when it comes to Mexico. Let's start with the facts, because you know I love some good facts before I get into my opinion. Last week, after Trump's years of ranting about illegal immigrants stealing black jobs, they were eating the animals. And it's funny that some people want to believe this just started. This started way before his first term as president, okay? This is not a new day. This is not a new Trump. So basically, Claudia responded and said, cool, if you're deporting our people, we'll deport yours too. Now, nothing is official yet, but people keep asking how I feel as a legal resident card-holding immigrant possibly facing deportation. And here's Karina's truth. Claudia is just reciprocating energy. She was really trying to kumbaya with Trump, and he basically hit her with a no thanks. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing. And by the way, we'd like to get the Gulf of America. We're going to buy that up off you, sweetheart. And here we are. I love my life here in Mexico, but would I be devastated if I got deported? No. And here's why I wouldn't be upset at all. The circumstances for Americans being deported from Mexico are not the same as Mexicans being deported from the U.S. Most Americans here, including myself, we came by choice. Some of us moved here for a lower cost of living, remote work opportunities, or just a slower, more peaceful lifestyle. No matter our reasons for moving to Mexico, most of our income for immigrants or expats still come from the U.S. So we do have options. The stakes are so much higher for the people being deported from the U.S. Now, do I think the president of Mexico is going to start deporting legal residents like me first? No, I don't think that. But if it gets to that point, I completely understand. I said this earlier. She's standing up for her people in a way we haven't seen someone stand up for Mexico in decades. And if I have to pack up and go because she's refusing to let Trump continue his nonsense, then so be it. I'm not afraid. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm none of these emotions people want me to be. Now, let me say this. If y'all catch me getting married to my child's father to stay in Mexico, just know I changed my mind and I realized I'm not leaving Mexico and I had to find a way to stay. But here's the thing. When I see comments telling me to go back to my country, it's not a dig to me. I've lived in 4 different countries and I can adapt. I will adapt. So at the end of the day, I've made peace with whatever comes next. I'm gonna be all right regardless. All right, so that's it for today's sit and speak or walk and talk. I know it was a lot of information, but I just wanted to address the deportation things and let people know I'm good. I'm all right. Y'all make sure y'all stay dry out there. I know some places in the world, they had snow. We having rain. And I'll see you on the next episode of Karina's Walk and Talk. Now, maybe it won't be from Mexico anymore, and that's all right. Just know I'll still be sharing my journey with y'all and living my best life no matter where I am in the world. Take care. Cuídate.
Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. I'm B-Boy, Remember, if it was the first time I come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Okay guys, I really hope you have seen and watched the full combination of the clips, and right now we have all seen and a lot of people are being shocked that Americans are being kicked out of Mexico. Reason 2 is that maybe our Mexican brothers and sisters that really came out in large number, and they're saying that whenever these people just go to Mexico, maybe we all know a lot of Americans really go to Mexico for vacation, and a lot of Americans really go to retire to Mexico and start their investment in there, living in there, because in Mexico life it's kind of cheaper. They can be able to build themselves much more than they can build themselves in America. So a lot of Americans really go or really prefer to go and retire in Mexico, but right now Mexicans, they are getting tired of them and they are deporting them back to America simply because they feel like the government of America is deporting their brothers and sisters back to Mexico, whereby they feel just like that they want to return the same energy the American government is doing to them. And another thing that a lot of Americans have really came out in that number saying that these people, they ain't respecting their culture, they ain't respecting their country. Whenever they go there, they want to disrespect all those people, and the Mexican brothers are tired of them. And a lot of people have really reacted to this and they are really shocked because they are saying that the Mexican are just doing the same thing the American government is doing to their brothers and sisters. And let me know in the comment section what could you have done if you were like Mexico, because these people, they are saying that these people are separating families, they are making people to disappear, they are deporting our brothers and sisters back to Mexico, whereby these our brothers are those people who have really decided to go to other countries like this America to look for greener pastures, so at least they can support their families. But at the end of the day, they have really came out and they are saying that these people, they are bad, they are smuggling into drugs in America, they are making the American citizen to lack jobs, they have taken all over job in America. This is the reason why the United States government really came out and deported all the immigrants. And the research really came out and said that this, a lot of immigrants, a lot of percentage were people from Mexico. And the Mexican people, they are really warning those two people who are going to America, not who are going to Mexico maybe for vacation, not to war more government in Mexico, because they say that this, like, maybe they are telling them that you can come to your country and there's nothing you can do to us. Reason to why they just want, if you go to Mexico for vacation, don't war more government in Mexico, because Mexican people will maybe can do anything or can do something bad to you. So be warned, MAGA supporters that are going to visit to Mexico. And a lot of people that really came out and they really reacted to say, someone has said that as an American white male, I support this message. I voted for the smart lady instead of the other person. You can join the dots. And a lot of people that really came out and said that a lot of Canadians are going to Mexico. Treat them well, they will remain loyal. Yeah, Canadians, they are also going to Mexico, and this is the other people are really telling them that apart from Americans, there's a lot of Canadians who are going to Mexico. So please treat them well, don't maybe mistake them. And a lot of another person has still came out and said that go home and eat some chicken and green because of like going into that made me laugh. And another person has still came out and said that Mexico has every right to defend itself. Yeah, we all know the president of Mexico really came out and said that he will deport all the illegal immigrants that are from America, because the American government is also doing so to their own brothers and sisters. So they're just trying to return the same energy this American government is doing to them. Another person has still came out and said that Mexico still came out and said that we really support this idea a lot, because there's no way MAGA supporters, they can come to our country, disrespect our culture, disrespect our music. We have given them our lands, we have sold them to our lands, they have come here, they have invested, they are making maybe kind of life to be kind of some hard, because a lot of people, when they go to there, they are kind of charging houses at high rate, and they are saying that these people, they have really come to our land and they are not paying tax when they are here, but instead when our brothers and sisters really go to their own country, really go to look for maybe greener pastures in the country, they are deporting them and calling them like they are criminals. Whereas these are the same people who are helping the government of America to move on, the economy of America to move on, because we have all seen how immigrants, they really did a lot of work in America. Right now we have all seen how American farmers, they are so desperate looking for farm labor, because the government deported the same immigrants that were really helping them in their farms. And these are the same people who really voted for this. These are the same people who really voted out of hatred. These are the same people who really voted out of racism. The same government or the same people are the one who deported these illegal immigrants. And right now they're the ones who are really crying out for help of how they are really going bankrupt, of how they are really losing their farms. But there's nothing they can do. Maybe they thought maybe other people or other races from America, they will be affected by this new admission, but we have all seen this new admission is just affecting everybody. We've all seen it's also affecting those tourists that are really going to America, that are going to Mexico, because they are getting kicked out of Mexico. And Mexican brothers are saying that if you are deporting our own brothers, why can't we just not deport you? So guys, we really hope things will be better in America. Things could be better in Mexico also. We just want this relationship to be continue going on for a very long period of time, and we really hope things will be better. And if it was the first time I come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you whenever you are. One love.